Welcome back to What Should I Play? Today I'm going to share with you some of the pickups that I made during the 2015-2016 winter season. Now, Christmas takes place during the winter, so some of these were gifts. I wanted to say a blanket thank you to anyone that contributed to all this awesome stuff that I got. So I guess the best thing to do is just get started. So as I tend to do every few months, I went down to Digital Press in Clifton, New Jersey, and picked up a nice stack of games. First here we have Beetle Adventure Racing on the N64, and this is kind of the quintessential racing game on the N64. I think if you have this and maybe Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, you'll be set as far as racing games go for that console. Next up is Joe and Mac on the SNES. Interesting caveman game. Fun 2D side-scrolling action platformer. Can never have too many of those. These next two I got kind of to near complete a set. This is Onimusha 2 and 3. I really love the first one, and I can't wait to really get into these because I have a thing for samurai games. I don't know what it is, but I just find it super interesting. That and cowboy games, which would explain, I guess, why I like Onimusha and Red Dead so much. Next up is Jak 3 for the PS2. And this rounds up my Jak and Daxter series for the PlayStation 2. Jak and Daxter, along with Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank, are some of the standard action platformers that you really need to have for a PS2 collection to feel complete. So I'm glad to have Jak 3. After doing my Crazy Taxi video, it made me really want to play some of the other games in the series, so I found a copy of Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller for the original Xbox. I haven't played it yet. I'm really excited to dig into that, and hopefully it maintains a lot of the fun that the original had. Next up, Spider-Man on the Genesis. Now, I really love Spider-Man. I think he's one of my favorite superheroes. You'll see a little bit more of that later when I get into some of these graphic novels here. But I'm really excited to have Spider-Man on the Genesis. This is a game I missed out on as a kid, so I'm really looking forward to playing that. And lastly, some Master System games. I don't have a lot of Master System games in my collection, so when I saw these two, I had to grab them. Space Harrier I'm more than familiar with, having played Shenmue and wasted way too much time in the arcade in that game. But Zillion, I've never played. I don't really know exactly what the game is all about. Judging by the back, it's a 2D kind of maze platforming game. But I've heard the name, so I'm passingly familiar with it, and that it's a decent game, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. So outside of Digital Press, the majority of my game shopping gets done at GameStop. Unfortunately, it was the winter, so there wasn't too much flea market action. So these are some of my GameStop pickups, and a lot of these were bought either on buy two get one free sales or with gift cards that I got for Christmas, or gift cards that were gotten through doing some, I think they're called e-rewards now, the e-reward surveys. So those are some good options if you want to pick up some games on the cheap. Is try doing some of those surveys. You'd be surprised how quickly you can get a $25 gift card. So I actually found a GameStop that still has Vita games, which is kind of a rarity now. First one I picked up is Ys Memories of Celceta, or Celceta, however you pronounce that. I've never played an Ys game before. Between the Happy Console Gamer and GameSack, I know they talk a lot about Ys and Phantasy Star and that series, so I'm really looking forward to checking this out. And the next Vita game that I got is Dragon's Crown. Now, this game came under some flack when it first came out because of the rather endowed witch character, but as a 2D side-scrolling action beat-em-up, I couldn't pass it up. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is a game that I've actually been on the look for a long time. I've been waiting for it to be out at a good price, but I've just never really seen it. Nintendo games tend to hold a lot of their value, so it's tough to find for cheap, even used. I finally had to just pull the trigger and buy this one, so as far as 2D Mario games go, I think this is the last one that I didn't have. So I'm really excited to have this. I've already played through it, gotten all the golden coins. So I have 100% completed this game already, and I've only had it for about 2 months. Fire Emblem Awakening. I got kind of on a strategy RPG kick after playing Project Cross Zone, which was really awesome. It's a little bit repetitive, but I liked it. So I know Fire Emblem Awakening is one of the highest rated strategy RPGs on the 3DS, if not one of the highest rated games in general. So this is probably going to be the next thing I play through. But right now, I'm actually playing through Project Cross Zone 2. I like the first one so much that I picked this one up day one. The roster of characters in this one is even better than the original. You get new characters like Ryo from Shenmue, so as much of a Shenmue fan is, and as long as it's been since I've been able to play as him, it's great to have him in Project Cross Zone 2. And the first one I think took me somewhere close to 60 hours. So I'm not anticipating getting through this anytime soon. But it's a good game for when I'm just sitting on the couch, catching up on some TV shows. I can play it without having to pay too much attention to it, and then really just follow along with the story once I get to the end of a level. I got Star Wars Battlefront for Xbox One. This was a Christmas gift for my uncle, so thank you, Uncle Joe. I'm really excited to play this. Star Wars The Force Awakens got me super hyped for Star Wars, so that's a definite play for the Xbox One. I filled up on some PS3 games. I think these were a buy two get one free sale. So God of War Ascension. God of War is another franchise that I'm really fond of. I just love action beat 'em up type games, and God of War is a really good example of how to do them right in 3 dimensions. So as I understand it, God of War Ascension is kind of a prequel. Definitely going to play that soon. Deadpool. I actually bought this before the movie, but now that the movie's out, I'm glad I grabbed it. I can't wait to play through this. And lastly, for the PS3 is DMC Devil May Cry. I just did a video on Devil May Cry as well, and that really got me excited to revisit the series. I really want to play this though to see what kind of evolutions the series have made. When I played through the original Devil May Cry, the controls were a bit clunky because there was no camera control. So I'm really hoping DMC took care of some of that and makes the gameplay a lot smoother. And lastly, for the games, I picked up some Wii games that were actually on a buy two get one free sale, and each of these 3 games were 89 cents each after my Power Up Rewards card. So for less than $2, I got 3 Wii games, which is really awesome. So I'll start from this one, Tornado Outbreak. I actually saw this and heard about this recently. I believe it was on Casey the Game Nerd's channel, and I'll link to him in the description. But he recommended this for anyone that's a fan of Katamari Damacy. So I'm really excited to check this out. It doesn't look like it's too in-depth of a game, so it won't take me too long to get through, but definitely going to check this out. Next up is Saint on the Wii. I know absolutely nothing about this. I saw the spine here on the shelf at GameStop and realized, hey, that's not one of those shovelware games that I see on every Wii shelf nowadays. So I looked at the cover and I immediately recognized this as the Monkey King from the story Journey to the West, which is what Dragon Ball Z was based on. So if you could see that without the glare, from the back of the box it looks like it's a shmup. So I'm really excited to check this out. And lastly, what is this even called? Dragon Blade Wrath of Fire. I know absolutely nothing about this. The back of the box looks like it's got pretty crummy graphics, and it looks like a lot of waggle controls for the Wii. But it was 89 cents, it was a game that I didn't have, and it was free, so why not? A lot of these games, you'll probably notice I said I'm looking forward to playing them. That's because I have played only maybe 2 or 3 of these at this point. And that's because I've been super addicted to Metal Gear Solid 5, which I finally got through 125 hours. It was a fantastic experience. I'm really sad that it's over, but I kind of burnt out on games for a little bit after that, but I'm starting to get back into them, so this pile is definitely some stuff that I'm going to tackle in the next couple months. And then, as far as games to life go, I have to put this down here because it kept falling. I've got Rocket and Groot Disney Infinity characters, and if you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, you know these two were the standout stars. I think the only person I might like better than them in the movie is Drax, but Groot is a definite favorite, and you gotta have his sidekick Rocket. So those are great for playing through Disney Infinity with, and I'll take these out of their box eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it. As far as movies and stuff go, the only thing that I got was Turn A Gundam Volume 1. Now, Turn A Gundam was a previously unreleased Gundam series. Right Stuff Anime has gotten some contracts with the Sunrise, who publishes Gundam in Japan, and they're starting to bring out some of the series that we never saw here. So Turn A Gundam was the first one. And the only thing that I have to really say about this is when I got it, it was missing Disc 6. So this is Volume 1. This comprises the first 25 episodes of the series. So when I opened it up, Disc 6 was missing. I emailed them. They sent it right out to me, which was great. They've got great customer service there. So if you pick this up and you're missing a disc, don't worry. Just contact them. You can do it online, and they ship it right out, no questions asked. Good on Right Stuff for taking care of that, and I'll definitely be picking up Volume 2. So as far as toys and games and stuff goes, I got the Lego Avengers Tower here. And I'll show a little clip of that. Normally I'll pick up the Lego Superheroes kits for the figures, because I really like to have a collection of the Avengers and Marvel minifigures. But this one I picked up just because it's kind of the centerpiece of the cinematic Marvel universe. So it's something cool to have on the shelf. As far as other figures go, I have a lot of them set up in my display cabinets over here already, so I don't want to take them all out to show close-ups like I normally do. I'll just go through them real quick. I've got the DC Icons Flash and Green Arrow. I'm a big fan of the two TV series on the CW, so to have them is great. I can't wait to add Batman and some of the other characters that they showed off at Toy Fair this year. Look really good. On the Marvel Legends front, I kind of went a little crazy just because they dropped so many waves in the last month or two. I have the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 3-pack, which dropped down to $30 at Toys R Us, which is great. 3 figures for $30. If you're interested in Marvel Legends at all, definitely pick that up. Valkyrie, Classic Cap, White Tiger, Sharon Carter, and Taskmaster, all added to my collection. And I actually think I also picked up the Ben Reilly figure with the Carnage conversion and Superior Spider Venom. So you'll see all those on my shelves as I show them, just as kind of an update to my Deltoffs. So moving on from there, let's move some of this stuff out of the way. This was a gift from my dad for Christmas. This is the Terrace Bomber, Jamie's version from Zoids. And this is going to go along with my Liger and Shadow Fox. Unfortunately, they didn't have the... So this is going to go along with my Liger and my Shadow Fox models. They take a long time to put together, but there was a point where I really wanted a nice figure of the Liger. It's one of my favorite mechs, and you can't really get one. You have to build it yourself. So I got the Kotobukiya HMS kit and put it together. I had so much fun doing it. I got the Shadow Fox, and then this year I picked up the Terrace Bomber. So hope to have the full set of the Zoids team there. What was the team even called? I forget what the team was called. The Blitz team. Yes, hope to have a full Blitz team. And all that's missing is Lena's Gun Sniper. They have the D-Bison and the Gun Sniper. She originally started out in the D-Bison and went to the Gun Sniper. So I am excited to put this together, and I'll do a video and show it off when I'm done. I've been doing a lot of reading recently, so I had to pick up some books to kind of fill my backlog up so that I have something to read when I'm done with other things. So the first is Uncharted, the Fourth Labyrinth, and this is one of the two pieces of Uncharted media that I don't have. Uncharted is one of my favorite series. I'm looking forward to Uncharted 4 so much, and I am so sad that it got delayed. I'm happy that they're putting the extra time into it, but I've got it on pre-order. It's going to get delivered to me day one, and I can't wait. Uncharted, the Fourth Labyrinth, it's not a long book. It's not, a classic, but if you really like the characters, I would say check this out. It reads just like the game plays. This is the Elon Musk biography, and I'm really big on biographies of inventors. So I've done the Steve Jobs book, I've picked up the biography of Einstein, and this Elon Musk book just came out. This was a definite pickup for me. And also on the subject of biographies is Amazing, Fantastic, Incredible, a Marvelous Memoir of Stan Lee. Stan Lee, creator of almost every major Marvel superhero that you're seeing on the screen now. And the cool thing about this is it's his biography, but it's done in a comic style, which is great. It's not too long of a read, but it really gives some insight into his childhood especially. He does a lot of interviews and you hear a lot of the same stories, but the beginning of this book talks a little bit of his childhood and how he first got started in the industry. And of course it shows off how he came up with the ideas for all the popular superheroes. And the last book that I have here is And on That Bombshell. This is the oral history of the Top Gear series, and that's the Top Gear that ran from about 2000 to 2015, not the original one. We're talking Hammond, May, and Clarkson. It was one of my favorite shows. As you might know, cars are one of my other favorite hobbies. So I loved watching this show, and to get some behind the scenes of the show and how it was created and all the stuff that they got away with that they probably shouldn't have was great. I really recommend this book if you're a fan of Top Gear. So on to graphic novels, and I think we'll end out on these. First up is Spider-Man, and this is the first time that Peter Parker from 616 encounters Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's a really sweet story, especially for Miles getting the blessing of Peter Parker to continue on the mantle of Spider-Man. And like I said before, Spider-Man's one of my favorite characters, and now that there's so much diversity to Spider-Man, not just between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, but with the Spider-Verse series, showing off hundreds of different versions of Spider-Man, I think that's really cool. So next up, this is the Uncharted graphic novel that was published by DC Comics. It was a 6-issue mini-series, and this is actually getting really hard to find. Uncharted, the Fourth Labyrinth, the novel, was one of the last two pieces of Uncharted media I wanted to get. This was the last. So now anything story-related that's come out that's based on Uncharted, I think I have. There's not too much. There's the 3 games and the book and the graphic novel. There's also a board game I found out about that doesn't really add too much to the story, I don't think, but I still want to pick it up to have as part of the collection anyway. So this graphic novel, this is actually the introduction of Chloe from Uncharted 2. So if you liked Uncharted 2, you want to get a little bit more backstory on some of those characters, definitely check this graphic novel out. It's hard to find now, which is why I have it all bagged up and stuff. So if you want this, get it now, because once Uncharted 4 comes out, it might go up in value, and if it truly is the last Uncharted game, the chances of reprint are probably pretty low. So you're not going to find it at any better of a price than you probably will right now. So next up is Batgirl Volume 2. And this is the redone Batgirl by Cameron Stewart and Babs Tarr. and this is kind of like the hipster Batgirl. I really liked the first volume, so definitely had to pick up the second one, and this is brand new, and can't wait to read this. And these last three are all Spider-Man related as well. The first is the Parker Luck, and this is the relaunch of Amazing Spider-Man after Peter Parker reclaimed his body from Dr. Octopus and was the superior Spider-Man. And these events lead directly into Spider-Verse. So next is the Edge of Spider-Verse. So these are all the tie-in books. So they introduce some of the side characters, and these kind of are interspersed throughout the Spider-Verse story itself. And finally, out in paperback after a long time, is this Spider-Verse collection. Look at that. This is, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 pages. This is just a monster of a book. I think it comprises 10 or 15 different Spider-Man books, all tying into the Spider-Verse main story. And one big problem with this, and I don't know why Marvel decided to do this, but the stories are not completely in order. And I don't know why they did that, because right inside the cover here on the second page, they list the reading order. So you can see right here, got the glare. You can see the order here that you're supposed to read the books. And these are not in that order. Additionally, there's no glossary or page numbers, so I went through with some little post-it flags labeled where every book starts, and now I'll be able to go through and read this in the order that it's intended to be read in. And this is a story I've been looking forward to for a while, since I first heard it was coming out. It's got, I think, every Spider-Man that's ever existed in one form or another, all coming together to fight one common enemy. So as a fan of Spider-Man, that's something that I had to pick up. So if you stuck it out for this long, thanks for watching. Come back next time, and I'll have another game to show you. And if you made it this long, I'll give you a hint. It's on the Sega Genesis, and it's a blob of green balls. So see you next time.